This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good evening all. Make ensure I'm audible. So if I'm audible, just you type as one in the chat box. Good. So today we have a session for SAP FICO. I hope all of you are coming from accounts background. May I know which semester you are all studying? So is it BCom, BBA? So how it would be? So use the chat box and just you type. So fourth semester BCom. Good. So who is CR in this group? So somebody says that IAF, BCom, business, BBA, analytics. Okay, good, fine. Okay, before we start off this, we'll try to understand what exactly that SAP. Okay, so most of the people would like to say that SAP and industry recommended as SAP. Okay, that I'll tell you that reasons next upcoming classes. We'll try to understand now what is ERP and what is the definition. So once we understand that ERP, then that would make us to understand easily what exactly ERP is going to be working. So now ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and it is an integrated information system that serves all the department within an enterprises. If I say enterprises, it's a huge company, like it's an organization, like a MNC company. Okay, there is a main resources, like three main resources. I can call it as three Yums. Okay, Yums stands for many, money, and second thing is material and man, material, and money. So these are the main important three M's for an organization. So that we can consider as a resources. So P stands for planning. So enterprise resource planning, it's an integrated information system that serves all the department within an enterprises. So ERP is a way to integrate the data and also process of an organization into one single manner or one single system, and we need a software solution for that particular enterprises, so that needs taking the process view of an organizational goals, so tightly integrating all functions of an enterprises. So this is all about ERP. Okay, so ERP, enterprises resource planning, as I said here, three M's. So the first M is man, money, and material. This is called our main resources. If I talk about enterprises, it's an organization. You can call it as MNC, multinational company. So the big thing is planning. How you are going to be working for all your resources. So that says integrated information system. So in the definitions, integrated information system that serves all department within an enterprises. And also ERP is a way to integrate the data and processes of an organization into one single system. So data processing is very important. Okay, we have some set of data software DBMS. So using that one, SAP is working and also processing the data which is going to be integrated. Okay, and also organization into one single system. There is a huge department like finance department you have. Okay, if I talk about department wise, like a finance finance department, sales department, then purchase organization or purchase department, okay, then marketing department. So like this, there is a huge number of departments are working, but finance department wanted to know the status of the purchase or sales, and marketing department wanted to know about that status of the stock availability and inventory management. So one department to another department, there is an integration point. So they wanted to understand that real-time data. Okay, so that stock availability, one thing, and money matters, that is the second thing. Then man matters, like employee HR department wanted to know about that recruitment process and all. So how this is going to be working? So that is going to be working in the format of integrated information system. And once it is integrated information systems combined and started working in an organization, then data has to be processed across all the department, so into one single system. Okay, in an enterprises, when you have multiple department, but across the multiple department, only one system will be working for that entire organization. So even though when you have multiple department, is called as ERP. So that data processing is play a big role. So SAP, it's a ERP vendor, but it's required a software solution. But ERP is not a software. Okay, ERP, as I said, it is a way of integrating the data processing of an organization. But when it comes to SAP, so SAP, as I said, ERP vendors, ERP vendors. So we need a software solution for the SAP, right? So that's why software solutions. One is going to provide that software solution for the ERP. So that is, some of the companies are working like this. Okay, so SAP, that takes the first place. Second, we have Microsoft Dynamics. Next, we have Oracle. Next, we have PeopleSoft. Then JD Edwards. So these are the few companies are working. But now, why still SAP is ruling in the first place? And why the people will like this one only? Because there is a main reason. So 30 to 40%, 30 to 40% of ERP market shares. So entire world, I've forgotten to tell you that it is. So entire world ERP market shares, which occupies 30 to 40%, entire ERP market shares that occupies only that SAP company. Now you think about that SAP company, how big it is, and how much the people are investing that particular money towards ERP software like SAP. Then, sir, what is exactly that SAP? So SAP system application product, system application product in data processing. So this is important. If you not specify this data processing, then it is a mistake and it's not going to be fulfill that definitions or abbreviations of that SAP. So whenever you specify that SAP and the end of that SAP, when you have abbreviate that and nested with the data processing. So you have to include this one. So 5 IBM former employees, they started this SAP. So these are great persons. They started SAP company. Platner, Stira, Welander, Hop, and Ekton. I hope this one is clear. About the founders. Is there any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah. Started SAP started in 1972 by 5 former IBM employees in Germany. So, but it's not a Indian-based company, and it's a German-based company. And the important thing is, it is the world largest inter-enterprise software company. Please understand the keyword. It is the world largest inter-enterprise software company, and this is the world fourth largest independent software supplier. So in the interview or somebody will ask you like generally, so SAP is that world first largest independent software supplier. Is that true or false, or is that correct or not? So that answer is not first largest, it is the fourth largest software service provider. And SAP have a very high level integration among different model. So it individual applications which guarantee that consistency of the data throughout the system and also company itself. So that's why that whatever uh, modules we have. So SAP has more than 25 modules, but all modules which are classified into two categories. So SAP company has more than 25 models, but all company will not be implementing all 25 models. So only few category or few important models will be implementing here. Okay. So that entire 25 models are which are classified into two ways. Number one is technical modules, and second one is functional module. So I'll give some example for technical modules. So technical module best example is ABAP, and second one is basis. Next we have XI, Exchange Infrastructure, and NetWeaver. So these are the few examples which are working for technical modules. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Have done like MCA, BCA, so they can go for programming, so which are working completely in the technical modules, not in the functional module. Sir, which one is our functional module? So functional modules like FICO. So FICO stands for Finance and Controlling. Next we have SD, Sales and Distribution. Next Material Management. Next we have PP, Production Planning. Next we have QM, Quality Management. So like this we have some other set of more functional models. So FICO is mandatory, ABAP is mandatory, and basis is mandatory. So next we have SD. Depends upon the company nature, like goods oriented companies will work for and also SD, but if there is a service oriented, then SD and FICO, ABAP, these are the mandatory modules which has to be implemented in a company. Okay, so now once if you complete your entire course, you will become a consultant. Okay, so you will become a FICO consultant. So to work as a consultant in a company, you need a consultant, also called as SME. SME stands for subject matter experts. You have to work at least 3 to 5 years. Industry experience is required, and you have to work as a junior consultant, not a senior consultant. Okay, and in this entire program, we will try to give the consultant and as well as end user training. Okay, so there is a end user training also. But most of the companies who have implemented already SAP, so they'll opt you or they'll recruit you as a end user, so not a consultant. If the people are recruiting you as a consultant, so there is a role to implement that SAP, whichever respective words your job role. So you have to implement the project and also configuration towards the client require as per the no, company client requirement. So that has to be taken care by the consultant. But nobody will give you a chance to work as a consultant in the beginning. So first you have to work as a end user and you have to understand. And second thing is 3 to 5 years industry experience is required, and at least 2 years you have to work as a junior consultant, and you have to understand that in and out of the uh, entire project implementation. Then you will become a good SME, subject matter experts. Then you considered as a consultant. But in this program we will try to cover all this, like what is the role of end user and also consultant wise. Okay, so what has to be done as a consultant and what has to be done as a end user in this program. So I hope this is clear, right? So use the chat box and you type as yes if understood. So maybe the people have a doubts like, sir, ABAP consultant, sir, technical module full form. So technical module full form XI means exchange infrastructure. Is it clear? Okay, so one criteria I was explaining, uh, sir, who one will be customizing the software in the real time when it comes to consultant wise? Is it a technical consultant or functional consultant? Can you guess and tell? Could you able to understand my question? So there is a consultant role. Suppose you wanted to customize the software. One has that subject matter experts knowledge to customize the software itself. So there is only one guy or only one consultant who can able to customize that entire software, like ABAP consultant. As I said, programming, advanced business application programming. So he is the main person or main consultant. He can able to customize that entire program as per the business requirement. And one more, there is a basis consultant. So basis consultant, he will take care of all the servers configuration and server maintenance, Okay, then implementation, integration point, a testing point, entire thing he will take care of that. Okay, that's why back-end team we can consider in a general wise. Generally we can consider that as a back-end team. So ABAP consultant and basis consultant, they do you know most of the server works and also software works. And being as a functional consultant, what he can do, he can customize and he can test that integration point as per the subject matters or subject knowledge from one application, one module to another module integration points and all. So I hope this much is clear. So when we talk about SAP product, sir, which product you are giving training, so and which version we are learning so today, so in this program. So as I said in the beginning, SAP started in 1972. Is that correct, right? Is that 1972 or is that 1982? Which one is correct?
1972.
So good. So it is 1972. Okay. So in the year of 1972, there is no software called as SAP. Okay. That earlier name was Financial Accounting Software. So in 1972, SAP started Financial Accounting Software. Okay, then in 1973, SAP started R1. R stands for real time. R stands for real time, which is evolved from RF, means real time financial accounting software system. And that was runs only for IBM server and as well as DOS operating system. You know about the DOS operating system? In Windows platform, there is a one more console. You could able to open that by pressing Windows key plus R, and if you type CMD, so that takes you to DOS operating system. That DOS operating system was popular in 1973. So that was working only for IBM server, and which is evolved from RF. RF, as I said, real-time financial accounting software for R1. Okay, SAP R1. In 1979, SAP R2 is also started. It is evolved from SAP R1, and it was working for mainframe based real-time data processing across accounting, manufacturing, and also SCM, supply chain management, and also human resources. And next in 1979, 1992, SAP R3 is evolved from SAP R2, and it was three-tier architecture, and that is the first module and first version which is used by the enterprises, and that was most popular one, and which consists a three-tier architecture ERP solution. Which one? SAP R3. So R3 real-time three-tier architecture. Okay, so 1 minute. I can give you some reference point for this. What I'm saying that SAP history. So in 1992, SAP R3 is evolved from SAP R2, and it was three-tier architecture and ERP solution, and enabling that SAP to be used by the enterprises companies, and it was most popular one in those days. Okay, and there is a one more thing that is My SAP. So in 1999, My SAP, it is also evolved from SAP R3. It is client and server based program, and it is a version, and which has all the features like SCM, PLM, CRM, okay, and SRM. Like SCM stands for supply chain management, PLM stands for product lifecycle management, customer relationship management, supplier relationship management. So all that relationship management data is what it was working for My SAP. So My SAP is another type of product which has that all the features in 1999. So this is all about SEM. Okay, in 2004. Okay, so SAP ERP is evolved from SAP R3. As I said, it is R3 real-time three-tier architecture, and it was started one more new model like a technical model NetWeaver. It was introduced in that particular version, and ERP constitutes that foundations of the SAP industry solution, and also it is a springboard to the enterprise startup authority, and also it includes that ECC. So ECC stands for Enterprise Central Component. It is a successor of R3. So it is a successor of R3 is SAP ERP. So say that in SAP in 1972 there is no ERP product. Check as per the number ERP year-wise number, and say this in 2004 because of that R3 architecture. So it is evolved from R1. Okay, R1, R2, R3, and it's finally we are in SAP ERP. Okay, it is actually a product name. Okay, it is evolved from SAP R3. As I said, it is R3 real-time three-tier architecture that we'll talk about later. And say this, it is an industry solution and also springboard to the ERP enterprise startup authority. And it is also called as ECC successor version. Okay, so ECC, as I said, enterprise central component. So when we open SAP software, you could able to see the name or term called as ECC that we will see later. Okay, so this is all about SAP versions. And one more thing I forgotten to tell you that. So SAP ERP also called as SAP ECC 5.0 and 6.0. So SAP ECC 5.0 it was released in the 2004, and SAP ECC 6.0 it is released in the year of 2006. This is all about SAP ERP product. Clear? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Fine. Next, we'll try to understand, sir, what is exactly that R3 architecture? How you want? Is it theoretically you want or practically you want? To understand this SAP R3 architecture, how would you like to? Is it in theory basis or is it in practical basis?
Practical, sir.
Okay, good. Practical. Everybody likes only practical. Okay, so we'll continue with the practical, but to understand that little bit, some of the concept, we'll try to have some, general formula. R3 architecture, as I said, real-time three-tier architecture. So in the three tiers, it means three layers. The first layer is presentation layer. Number two layer is application layer. Number three layer is database layer. So totally how many layers are there, or how many tiers are there? There are three tiers. One is presentation, one is application, one is database. Sir, what presentation does? So presentation, it's very simple. So using presentation layer, where we can able to access that SAP software, it is called as presentation layer or presentation tier. Please understand again where which layer is going to be does supports for accessing SAP software over the internet or online or offline. Okay, so that area is called as presentation layer. So there are two methods to access SAP software. So one is through GUI mode and one is through web browser. If there is a web browser, in the architecture of the R3 architecture, there is a ICM, Internet Communication Manager. So this allow us to communicate over the internet using through web browser. So there are two methods to access SAP, SAP software. One is through SAP GUI, graphical user interface. Please understand again some of the term. So presentation layer is nothing but only to access SAP, access SAP system. So how can I able to access SAP system? One is through GUI. So that name is called as SAP logon. So that we will see by practically. And next one is through web browser. So when you work for real time, so they used to provide through web browser, and also they'll used to provide some of the IP address and domain names and all. So easily if you enter that particular URL, then that would take you to SAP server and also asking for credential. So up to that much, so web browser, through web browser we can able to access. So once that communicated, so there is a communication channel. So that communication channel is going to be established, the connection between your computer to the SAP server. So that is called as ICM. So Internet Communication Manager. So Internet Communication Manager. So this is application, no, in the layer of application, sorry, presentation layer, this is going to be working. And this presentation layer provides that entire graphical screen to the user, and also user can enter the data on the screen. So like as a user, if I wanted to post entry as a end user, as a consultant, then I wanted to have a screen. Okay, that particular screen is comes to your uh, desktop, that is called as your presentation layer, and where we can able to access SAP data or SAP data entry, and also that shows that processed data is that saved or not. So that we'll see by practically 1 minute. I'll show you that screen. Just I'm sharing that screen. Wait for a minute. So just have a 5 minutes break. So I'll come back to you. Yeah, so we'll start this. Actually, we have a virtual machine. This is the software what I've installed here, VMware Workstation. So just double click on this, and in the left hand side you have a separate library pan. So here you have a make activate and deactivate that library pan. Okay, even I can close this also. So this is what status bar, sorry, address bar. So here you can address it and you can apply this. So hide and show library. Then in the list of library, you could able to see here ECC. This is what I said. So enterprise central component. So just if you click on this, in the right side, the property that would comes to the working area. This is our complete setup, our SAP virtual machine. Okay. So just I'm clicking on this power on this virtual machine. Just you click on this and make this to full screen. Now it's loading like Windows Server 2003. So to run this SAP software, you must have a 300 to 400 hard disk space, then 8 GB RAM, at least 8 GB RAM or 6 GB RAM, and i3, i5, i7. So among the list, any one of this processor is applicable. So these are the main resources is required to run this SAP software. 6 GB RAM, then i3 processor is minimum. Okay, and next thing is hard disk space is mandatory. Minimum 300 to 350 GB hard disk space is required. So if you have that property or resources, then easily you can practice at home also. So it's taking time, it's loading. So once loaded, then finally that would prompt for press Ctrl Alt Delete. So it is not physical machine. So we are working for virtual machine. So what you have to do is holding Control key and Alt key, you have to press insert. So do not press Control Alt Delete. The moment if you press that, then system that would get locked. Okay, so system is suggesting you to press. See, this is the one. So you have to click inside. See this, we have two mouse pointer. One is inside that virtual machine, one is physical machine. When you click inside that, then it is physical machine is interacting with the virtual machine. It will become integrated. So now is asking this SAP system, press Control Alt Delete. So do not press Control Alt Delete. Instead of that, Control Alt Insert. If you press, then is prompted for username and password, is asking for credentials. The default username here ECCADM. Then it is an administrator. Then password is India123. So press enter key and you type some comment and you click OK. Now SAP server desktop is loaded. Okay, and here we have SAP logon. Here we have SAP logon, the icon from the main desktop of the SAP server. So double click. When you click SAP logon, it takes some time. So it will have, it has around 2 GB software where you have to install to access SAP server, database server and application server, because SAP logon, it works for presentation layer. As I said, it works for presentation layer. So I am trying to accessing this SAP software or SAP system. Yeah. So here we have the number of instances. So ECC 6.0. So now the number of servers, SAP server which are available, so which have installed in the company. So that list of servers which are comes to the screen, so that you have to select whichever you wanted to get login and you click log on. When you click log on, the backend like application server and as well as database server, if that available, then successfully you can able to get that credential screen. But here I have some error because it's asking that cannot able to connect that message server. Message server is one of the type of application server, and do you want to see that details information, because in the back end like database server and as well as application server or application layer which is not working to access SAP. So this is all about what I can say presentation layer. Got it? So presentation layer access that SAP system through GUI like SAP logon, and one more as I said web browser. But web browser uses ICM, so that we will see next presentation layer and database layer. Okay, so what about application layer? So application layer process the data using application logic and communicates between the layers, and which is going to be rewrite the data from the databases. Okay, so message server is one of the example of application server. And finally we have database server. The database server stores the data in the main database, and that has a database layer consists of central database system containing all the R3 architectures or R3 systems, and which has two major component in the database. One is DBMS and next one is database itself, database management system. DBMS stands for database management system. And SAP has its own manufactured database name called as HANA. But Before HANA, like Oracle was one of the database software was used in the database server, but now the SAP company is completely deleted or completely not using that Oracle software in place of database. So they found their own database architecture is called as HANA, and HANA is compatible with all other major database softwares such as like Oracle. So now we'll try to understand about our what is that application and as well as database. So we have another console here backside, SAP management console. One is SAP logon, but SAP logon, if I click, I can able to access. But to access what is required from the backend, I wanted to have application server and as well as database server. Just double click on this. So this is the main reason what I said. Okay, ICM. So this Internet Communication Manager. Okay, it's not available because we are not accessing this SAP through web browser. And one more, as I said, ABAP WP means workbench process, advanced business application programming workbench. Okay, and nothing is processing and nothing is started the services. It's completely stopped all the services in the application layer and as well as a database layer. So in this example or in this demonstration, application server and database servers both are configured here itself. So but in real time, application server data they will keep separately and database server data they will keep separately. So we'll see, sir, then how can I able to start the ECCR main application server services and as well as database server services. As I said, ECC, enterprise central component. Do right click on this, and when you click the start button, is asking password to start that as a credential, and you type India 123 and press enter. So it is taking you to start the services. Wait for a while and you could able to notice the color changes in this icon. So earlier it was gray color, now it's turned up into yellow color, and see after some time again it's changing this into green color. So once it's turned into the green color, we understood that all services, required services for application server and as well as database server, everything is gets loaded and able to access from the presentation layer. Okay, so we'll wait for a minute. So sometimes if you have a less memory in your computer system like 4 GB, okay, like 6 GB, so that would take some time. Depends upon the system configuration. We should not use much more processing task that takes that kill the memory. When other system or other applications, if you are opening and working parallelly, that would kill the memory and also that made you to delay to access SAP. So what we are doing here, parallelly we are conducting online classes and also we are working in Google Chrome in internet. So that also has to be processed and takes a lot of memory space. So little bit time that would take as of now. Is that understanding now? So please give a comment. Is that understood, that R3 architecture? Use the chat box and type. Yes. Did you notice this color changes now? So this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have green color. So sometimes what happen is, it's showing that green color when I'm clicking for log on. sometimes that would shows that error like this. Correct, right? So what might be the problem again? So there is a problem. So still services is not 100% not loaded. Okay, so around 30 to 40% when it comes to that bottleneck, so it's immediately that's turned into green color. So believing that if I'm clicking on that logon button, then it's throwing that error messages. Okay, so again we'll wait for another 1 minute. We'll see. But now by tomorrow in the next class itself, if I conduct the practical things, then how do you manage for your practical things? How did you plan for that?
So could you repeat that downloading thing tomorrow if you don't mind?
It's not downloadable, ma. It's around 300 GB, around 250 GB at least required. Is it possible to download within within an hour, within a minute? So not possible. Hmm? And do you have that sufficient configuration in your laptop? As I said, right, requirement. Everyone has that resources like 6 GB RAM, more than 6 GB, and 300 GB hard disk space. Say this: message server, dispatch plus work, IGS WD. These are all message application servers. Okay, in the application server, what I said, that explanation part. Say this: process the data using application logics and also communicate both the layers. So this is what is doing: message server, dispatch worker, and also IGS WD. So this SAP not available in internet, and also they won't provide you that in internet also. Okay, you ask our team, so maybe they maybe help you for your practical things. Okay, I hope this is the one. 90% is loaded. I would believe that. So I'm clicking on log on button. So one is presentation layer, application layer, and behind of that we have a database layer. So this is what SAP screen. So once successfully loaded presentation layer, application layer, and database layer, then you have this screen. And so you able to notice here, welcome to IDES. IDES means Internet Demonstrated Evaluation System. Internet Demonstrated Evaluation System. It is completely working for uh, workshop and also training purpose, not for commercial purpose. So this product is not using for commercial purpose. So this is the demonstrated machine which is completely used for training, not for commercial activities. So this is the way SAP is uh, given this demonstrated evaluation system. So people would giving this, they'll asking money, sir, this is the licensed one, that and all, blah blah. They would tell you that. So they, you won't uh, believe that. So understand that particular terms. IDES, if there, it is completely training purpose. And there is one more term, we have client. Okay, so we will talk about SAP landscape, then easily you can understand this, what is client number and all. So we'll try to understand here what is the interface of this SAP. Okay, so username, here we have SAP user, and password is India 123, and the language is EN. Okay, so this is all about the property. And say this title bar, so it's always, this area is called as title bar. But if I'm clicking this enter button, so you can press in the keyboard, you can press enter key. So or else use this mouse, and when you trigger this, then this would take the same function. Okay, so uh, the moment if you click that, then this title bar again that would change. Okay, but this stripe is called as title bar area. Okay, so what is the name of the application is going to be working, so that would be displayed in the same area. So above of that particular title bar, we have a standard toolbar. So this is completely loaded with a set of icons like a save, minimize, maximize. This input area, like a bar, rectangular bar you have could able to see. So this is called as T code bar area. When you click, is taking that cursor and it's blinking. So this area is called as T code. T stands for transactional code. Okay, so I can able to hide this transactional code. I can expand it. Okay, hide and show ribbon, sorry, transactional code. And next to that we have a saving option, then backward option, canceling option, then log off option. Okay, then canceling option, and printing option, finding option, so and so on. This is entirely the icon set area is called a standard toolbar. So above that we have menu, like user menu, then system menu. Then as per this application, the number of menu also changing. So for that, practically we'll try to understand now. When you click enter by providing this username and password, now let's see. And say the status bar, which is going to be displayed, is that completely successfully working or not, and what is the status of the input, everything that would displayed in the status bar. So this loading data, this is the status bar. Hmm. See the changes now. What is the name of the title bar now? Could you tell me? And how many menus you have? So use your chat box and you type what is the name of the title bar. As I entered the credential, if when I'm pressing that enter key, suddenly it's loaded some other application. expecting? Okay. So the title bar is SAP Easy Access. Good, Aishwarya. So SAP Easy Access. SAP Easy Access is the name of the application. Okay. So where end users are working here. So this is SAP Easy Access. Okay. And see this application options. One more role has been added here. So this is application options or application set of group. Okay. And here we have folder wise. Okay, like folder icon. This is completely, we can name it as role based menus. Okay, and see the number of menus. So we have earlier in the previous screen we had a only 3 menus, but now see this, which is increased up to 6. Okay, but there was no application options, application bar, and application options area, but it's completely, it is new into this. And if I'm enter this SPRO is one of the transactional code. Okay, and that is taking you to implementation the project and where that the consultant is going to be working. Okay, being as a consultant, if you wanted to implement something in the program or to customize any program, then this is the most of the common transactional code where the consultant will be using SPRO. SPRO stands for SAP Project Reference Object. Okay, then entering this SPRO, and if you press enter key, and next to that, immediately you have to notice what is the status, sorry, title bar. Okay, and see this for time being. And also notice this status bar. So start of application, customizing editing project. See what happened. What is the title bar here? Customizing execute project. And also names is changed, options are changed, and also menu is also changed. Did you notice this? And again, if I'm clicking on this SAP reference IMG stands for implementation guide. Just you click on this. That's all. So it's showing that display IMG. Display IMG, as I said, implementation guide. And see the menus. Implementation guide, you have edit, go to, additional information, utilities, system, so on, so on. But only one area is still not changed. So that area is called a standard toolbar. So this standard toolbar still it remains as same. And also title bar is also remains as same. But as per the application, the name is keep on changing. But the bar remains the same. And application options also changed. But see this, this is completely a new. It is not folder structure. It is a completely optional structure. Okay, and when you open this main group, actually this is main group, collections of all the options. And again, if you're clicking again sub main group of the main group, and again sub main group of the main group of the main group. Okay, double click, it's not working. Okay, and this is the icon which denotes only for document assistant. Okay, which would provide you some of the information about that particular option where you have clicked. Wait for a while and see this, it's completely similar like your help menu. Okay, and you can understand some of the theoretical concept which is defined by SAP company, and not required, just immediately you can close. Sir, what has to be done to open this option? So there is a clock symbol, so you would able to notice this clock symbol, or we can call it as IMG activity button. So in might be in interview, or somebody will ask you what is the name of this clock symbol. So the clock symbol is always, there is a name is called as IMG activity button. So just if you click this, This define company is opening now. So this is how you have to interact with SAP. So it is not like Word, Tally, MS Excel, okay, and any other application. So it is completely new interface, and you have to understand by practicing. So without practice, no use. So just similar like a movie. Okay, you can online, you can come to online, you can understand up to 1.5 hour. Then after that, after 2 days, you'll be chance, you'll be having chance to forgetting. So that's why uh, the next day itself is that available, then you can practice. And also you can make that list which you have not attained or which you have not comes to your hands on, then you can discuss. Okay, and see this, what is the name of this application area? So change, view, internal trading partners overview. So like this, it is keep on taking into the innermost option for executing that implementation part. So till now we have we have noticed two things. One is SAP easy access and one is display IMG. So display IMG is the main area where the consultant will be working. So you, what you can do is you can just, you press back button, it is taking you to back, and again press back, it is taking you to back, previous screen. So being as a consultant, this is the main area where you can able to work. And being as a end user, okay, so come back, and the folder structure, as I said, role based menus. So here you can work. So this is how uh, major differences will be there between end user and consultant. Okay, sir, how I can save the working session for the next log on? So what I can do is, so just right click here, go to the power button, and see what there is an option called as suspend guest. If I suspend it, so it's completely resuming this option, and it takes now 1 GB free space. And notice the changes now. So now, could you able to see this changes now? What is completely paused, and see in front of that, we have resumed this virtual machine. Okay, now if I click this button, so the previous what I was working session, it's completely come back to our screen. So this is how I would recommend you to practice, and also you can save the working session for practicing purpose. Okay, but when I started this one for understanding this R3 architecture, there was an option called as power on this virtual machine, but now I don't have this option because I've paused that entire session of the virtual machine. So do you have any more queries? I hope all of you this would understood. So you use the chat box and you can ask me if you have any doubts. Not getting response. How did I believe? Is that understood or not understood? What, Neha? What is the question you are asking? Where do we find? What you wanted to find, ma?
Sir, if you want to go through this recording once again, I had some
Yeah.
network issues, so I missed out in between. So where do
Okay.
we get the recording, sir?
That we will upload and I'll send you. We will send you the link, ma.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kritika, you're asking, can we download software? So my suggestion is, you ask our team, you ask your coordinator, maybe they would help you. They'll consult our team, it seems. Okay, so if they take decision, I think you'll get a software. Okay, and you can follow this guideline. Is that okay, Kritika? Good. Okay, next, any more queries? Okay, in the next class, next 10 to 15 minutes, I would like to show you this how to get login into SAP, and also I'll show you that R3 architecture definitions one more time. Okay, if required, or else I'll skip and I'll start some other topic. So there is a lot of things to there to understand here. Okay, it is a beginning, uh, initial stage. If you did not understand properly here itself, then for me it is taking, it is that would difficult for me to teach. So that's why. So let me know your opinion. Is it required one more time? So how to get into SAP, how we can able to provide that credentials. Okay, so that we will discuss. Clear? So shall I wind up the session? Okay, so see you all in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a doubt. So are you there?
Yeah, Telma.
So actually, I couldn't join the first 5 to 10 minutes. So regarding the attendance, would it be considered for me?
Yeah, it will happen, ma. No problem. We will
Okay,
consider.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ma. Thank you.